Hello YouTube, welcome to BT12 Ultimate Cup format. Until Ultimate Cups are over, I'll be tailoring the content of the channel to Ultimate Cups for those of you that are interested in participating in the most competitive events happening in this moment of time. The first deck list I want to show you guys is the Machinedramon deck featuring the new big bad boss monster, the Chaos Dramon X Antibody. This card's very powerful, makes this deck even more of a truck than it was in BT11 Ultimate Cup format. I do seriously think that this is one of the decks that will have best results in the Ultimate Cup format. This is one of the decks I'm even thinking about playing myself. I'm just going to be fully transparent. I think I'll play this deck, and it's really, really good. It is a rough draft right now, but it did win at 8 out of 10 matches yesterday in testing against decks that we believe that will be doing well in Ultimate Cup format, things like Blue Flare, All Force, Red War Gray, Beelzemon, and the Mirror Match. So that's pretty cool. I'll take that any day of the week. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm playing, how I'm playing it, and there's definitely room for changes. There's a lot of ways you can play this deck. I don't think that there's a correct way yet, or if there is, I'm not sure I've found the perfect answer yet. But this deck is definitely a great starting place. I think you guys will have a lot of fun with it. If you guys like the content, please do like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell on Smash Potatoes. That way you know when all these amazing Digimon videos come out. Well, the deck profile, I'll show you guys some plays after the deck profile, and that's it. Hope you guys enjoy. For this version of Machinedramon, I am trying something that I've never tried before, which is using the Doraemon egg strat, letting you draw a card whenever you attach a source, and comboing it off with the Dorumon strat, also getting a memory when you do that. This is the rookie you really want to evolve in the back row to get with your Doraemon, and we do play a secondary rookie of Hagurumon, the one that Destiny draws your cyborgs away, to draw 2 cards. Now, this is the one you want to play for sure, but I am trying the strat out, because I've never really given it the time of day before, and I have to say it's actually doing okay. I'm not losing any games because this isn't anything else, like it's not... You know, if I hit this in security, I don't wish it was like a Chikurimon that evolves or anything like that, or not a Chumon for memory denial. This is actually just working out okay right now. But I've thought about, you know, when I'm playing games, I think to myself, you know, if this was Chumon, would the game be different? Would I win an unwinnable game? Or something to that effect, right? But so far, I can happily report that hasn't happened yet. So I'm fine with the 4 and the 4 of these for now. I really have no complaints about it, but, you know, this is still new, still testing it, and eventually we'll see what happens. Going into the champions now, we have 4 copies of Numamon. This champion is really important because it's 3 to play and 1 to evolve. You might notice that our rookie count is really low in this deck, so sometimes you gotta hard play Numamon and then evolve into a 5. To go along with that, we played 2 copies of Nanimon. Nanimon comes out of security a little more often than I think it should. But it does come out of security, it's free, evolve 5 on it, you go to town. But it's also another 3 cost champion to play. Again, if you don't want to, you know, play a rookie, you can play this and evolve into a 5 and it's okay. And then the last 2 champions are 2 black hybrids. They can be any black hybrid because BT12 has new ones. It doesn't matter what it is. I either evolve this in the back to help my stack, or I evolve on Analog Man for game. And it's literally one of the two. I would never use a black hybrid effect from BT12. So insert placeholder hybrid here, it doesn't really matter too much. It's either for game or it's in the back. You don't get a window drawing anyway. So yeah, that's it for champions. Again, 8 of them. But deck space in this deck is really tight. And we're going to talk about why as we move on to ultimates here. We do play 12. And we're starting off with Metal Tyrannomon. I do think this one is the best. It's security, it's inheritable effect is an all turns once per turn burn when the Digimon deletes something by battle. That's broken. That's actually kind of crazy. It's when Digivolving on play can perma-suspend something, which is cool, but it's really there for the burning of security, dealing that extra damage. We don't need to have security +1 modifiers in this deck, because this just burns security. We're playing a slower game anyway. We don't need to rush the opponent down with security +1 ultimates. So we play none of that. We just literally take our time and we burn security away. No big deal. Now, I'm stealing a combo from Lychee back when we did this in BT11 Ultimate Cup format. I'm playing 2 of this guy who has Reboot as an inheritable. He also has jamming, so like you can swing for safety. I think I've done that like once, ever. But giving it Reboot helps with Black Mac Galgamon. a BT5 common that has reboot on its own body, and if it has an inheritable, if you have reboot during your turn, plus 2000 DP. So if you can add that to something like, you know, Chaosdramon X or even Chaosdramon, you're attacking over most things in the format. Just with that, just with one. Not to mention if you have both, then you can definitely be free of anything. I think the biggest body you have to worry about this format is donation. Not donation. What the hell am I saying? Quartzmon. I don't know how donation got in my head from Quartzmon. But anyway, Quartzmon or Galamon Crimson Mode are like your big bosses you might see. So if you have one of these, it ties. If you have two, you're fine. No big deal. So I do like it a lot. The magic numbers do come up. So for now, I'm keeping it. We do play one of each of these EX1 dudes. The ones when Digivolving real top 3, you add a level 6 machine to your hand, trash the rest. Then they all have separate inheritables. This one pops a 5 cost or less when you attack. This one has blocker. This one has reboot. This is a bad reboot, by the way, because it doesn't help this guy, because this is an opponent's turn reboot. So it's kind of bad. This card is probably going to get cut for another ultimate. But talking about these two cards here, or them in general, I find that I whiff on these cards. I don't know what it is about me and whiffing. This is the card I historically whiff with in this deck when we get to it too. But like, I never get the Machinedramons off this card. I don't understand why. I think I get them like 1 in 4 times. It's pretty low. So I almost want to cut them all together. So I think I'm definitely going to cut this one for something else. And we'll talk about what that might be in a minute. But for now, it's okay. We do play one copy of BT8 Metal Greymon, and I'm going to be real with you. If I cut this, it's probably going to be for a second one of these. Now, the reason I play this card is because the inheritable effect, mostly, attacking on suspended Digimon. It combos really well with the Tyrannomon Ultimate that burns security. Attack whatever they want, burn security, don't worry about it. Also, as D-Digivolve 1 when evolving, and pop at 3000. It does have some synergy and some effectiveness here and there, but it's mostly here for the inheritable. Usually you're discarding it and then getting it back later. We play one copy of Machinedramon for the inheritable pop a 3 cost tamer. Good against Renas, Ayamakos, and Black Ties, as well as the other odd tamer here and there. Not good in the mirror match, unfortunately, but the one copy comes up when it needs to come up, so I think that's okay. The final ultimate we're playing in this deck is just a blocker inheritable, to make that a little more readily available. Now, you'll notice that there's only 12 of these in the deck. Only 12 ultimates. There are a lot of ultimates to choose from that are black in Machinedramon. Because don't forget, it's monocolor format. But there's still a whole smorgasbord of cards you can pick. There's a lot of cards. Like, I have not tested the whole pool. I'll be real with you. I only had 10 matches with this deck so far. You can definitely play more different cards to whatever, you know, tailors your local meta, whatever you want to do, right? So definitely keep that in mind with deck building, that this is not the definite final 12. You might want to play more or less. I wouldn't play less, but like, you might change it up, and that's perfectly okay. You know, this is just a template. Do whatever makes you happy, honestly. I might change this up before Ultimate Cup myself. Who knows? Who knows? Alright, now we gotta talk about the Megas. And the Megas start off with 4 copies of Chaosdramon. I do believe this is your best Mega, and we'll talk about an important strat with it later after the deck profile portion. But I've also run a Machinedramon. When you're evolving or playing it, you attach up to 3 sources, D-Digivolve up to 3 cards, basically, from the top of the stack, which is really, really good. Also has an all turns protection from deletion and bouncing, which is incredibly important. The bouncing here really, really makes it super clean. Makes it really good against all force. Now, moving right along, before we talk about the actual boss monster, we do play 2 copies of this Machinedramon from EX1. The one that if you play, you attach 5 sources to it with different card numbers, get a memory back for each. So effectively, it's a 7 cost hard play. But it has the ult turns prevent deletion, but unlike it can't protect from bouncing, it can protect from DP reduction. You cannot DP reduce this card at all. You can't do it. So it's really good against decks like Shine Greymon that do DP reduce quite a bit. And now that brings us to the big boss monster. The reason why I think this deck will be over the top in Ultimate Cup format. This card didn't exist last time. This is Chaosdramon X Antibody. It evolves for 2 on a Machinedramon or a Chaosdramon. The start of your turn, it attaches something to it. and that's okay as a material. Its crucial ability is the old turns and has the abilities of the cards on the Machine and Chaosdramon cards underneath it. So if you have this card on top of both Machinedramon and a Chaosdramon, well, it can't be DP reduced, destroyed by card effects, or bounced by card effects, basically. And you're always touching sources, which means the only cards that get rid of this are like Chaos Degradation or Lonky Adistacto. And that's pretty powerful, honestly. It also has an alternate effect once per turn. If it would be deleted, trash opponent's security. So there's a lot of security trashing in the deck. I don't think the opponent will purposely play into that, though. That's never really come up for me. But the fact this is just a impenetrable, giant, thick, black blocking card is just kind of ignorant. And this card will cause this deck to be pushed maybe over the edge for this format. The final two megas are 2 copies of the BT11 Machinedramon. That's the one when you play or evolve real top 5 cards, you can add an analog man to your hand, and then you can either attach to it a sideboard machine or add a sideboard machine to your hand, trash the rest. It has a cool unleashing effect where you can play a Machinedramon by bottom decking an analog man, but like it's mainly here for the searching. But if you do get the unleashing effect off, you can play the OG Machinedramon, this one, gain 5 memory, like on your opponent's turn maybe, and that's kind of funny. So that's pretty cool. Now I will say that I always miss Analog Man with this card. I think I've gotten Analog Man with this card once in my entire life playing this. Last format and this format. It's kind of sad. Other people are luckier than I am, so I need to fix that, because if I'm missing Analog Man with this card, I can't play this deck. It's basically that simple. So I'm chalking it up to bad luck. But I think this card, you need to play some copies of it because it is important for getting yourself some resources. And now, with that out of the way, we're going to move on to the Tamer portion of the deck, which is, of course, 4 copies of the creepy Zolo-looking thing, Analog Man. It's the one that started main phase, you discard a sideboard to draw a card and gain a memory. Very important card for filtering your cards from trash and gaining memory and drawing cards. In addition to that, it's an opponent's turn effect where you can redirect an attack to it by suspending it. That's powerful, because you don't always need to block, right? You just redirect, and it causes opponents to like not attack you because they know this card exists. If they misplay into it, you win the game basically, especially with inheritables like Metal Tyrannomon. So this card makes the deck. It's pretty busted. We play 1 copy of Izzy. It's a memory tamer that always costs 3 because we're playing only black cards. Would cost 4, gain your memory back. So if you like hit it in security, which has happened before at 0, it puts you over to 1, then you go to 3, which is hilarious when it comes up, but it's very rare. But it is a 3-cost memory tamer, and lets you rearrange all 3 cards of your deck. That's pretty cool. And now we'll move on to the options. The options being 4 copies of Attack of the Heavy Mobile Digimon. We play 4 of this for 2 reasons. One is because it's a security bomb that you can discard a card in your hand when you activate it. It's from security to pop something at that level or lower or whatever. Or play cost. Is it play cost? It is play cost, yep. And then the other reason we play it is because this is your bushy for game. Like, this is it. You play your Machinedramon, you attach material to it, you can swing for game immediately with it. So this card is very, very, very powerful. You don't need hybrid for game if you have this card. Or maybe you have both, and that lets you just push for game. So yeah, you can play for this card. I think anyone that doesn't is throwing, in my opinion. And then finally, 3 copies of 3 Black Memory Boost, just for the extra memory here and there, and for the extra consistency to add a black Digimon to your hand. Let's go ahead and talk about a few plays you might want to know when playing this deck. I want to illustrate something that is very important for the mirror match, and a reason why you should play 4 of this Chaosdramon. In the mirror match, let's say your opponent has the God stack. The God stack being Machinedramon, Chaosdramon X with sources. Well, you might notice that none of these Machinedramon cards are, affected by D-Digivolve, right? Got DP reduction, you got would be deleted, you got would be deleted and or return to deck or hand or deck. There's nothing here that prevents D-Digivolve, which is super interesting. So, what can you do? Well, let's say you have a Machinedramon on the board. Well, you can evolve for 1, it's probably still your turn, and you can equip 3 sources from the trash. Look at that. And you Digivolve 3 times on your opponent's board, and now they're stuck with a 5. And if you're fortunate enough to get Metal Greymon, which is one of the reasons I want to play 2 of this, all of a sudden, assuming this was on the board already, you can just swing over this stack. That stack is dead, and you've successfully just gained a huge advantage through the mirror match. I think the mirror match as well as other matchups, is the sole reason why you play for this card. This card's incredible. It's such a huge tempo shift, and I think it's very important. It isn't really a play per se, but it's more like proper sequencing of effects that has brought me success by playing this deck. Let's say this is like your opening hand, and then you evolve in the back and you draw a card. Sure. When it comes to things like Analog Man, if you have cards in your hand to start discarding and fueling, you definitely just slam that Analog Man down and you go to town that turn. But let's say that these were not this. Let's say it was like, I don't know, you had this in your hand and you only had like one level 5. Well, all of a sudden, the Analog Man might seem a little bit sus because you don't have that many level 5s to discard, right? So prioritizing, you might actually want to play the Black Memory Boost first, add 4 cards, or to look at 4 cards, add 1 that you need to hand, and then next turn, if you start drawing another piece, then yeah, then you do Analog Man. I do see a lot of, sometimes I'll see it on stream where people will go turn 1 rookie Analog Man, but they have nothing with the Analog Man to discard on turn 2. So it seems like kind of a waste, if you want my humble opinion here. So just keep in mind sequencing, right? Your goal is to get as many level 5s in the trash as possible, but you also need to usually keep 1 for your stack. Unless you have a way of doing Machinedramon without passing over turn, which is hard. You need multiple memory boosts to do that, and a memory tamer to do that. So it's not as easy as it looks. So just keep that in mind as you move forward, that, turn 1 Analog Man may seem really cool, and sometimes it is definitely the play. I'll be real. I kept a hand at one point in testing, which was rookie, 3 5s, and it was Analog Man. And I kept that hand. I'm like, you know what? This hand looks playable. Let's do it up. And Analog Man allowed me to dig through resources easier, and we unbricked and got there, and we won that game. So just kind of keep that in mind, right? This deck has some really clunky hands. It is important to manage resources properly. It's important to decide what level 5s to trash and what ones to keep in hand. With that, I'm done. Yep. Alright, that is the Machinedramon deck profile. Again, I think this deck is very, very powerful. It can definitely top an Ultimate Cup. I definitely think it can win an Ultimate Cup given the right player. And it's not that hard to play. It's pretty simple. The entry to play in terms of your brain power is pretty low. That's always nice. And it's just a big deck that's annoying for your opponent to deal with. Nothing more like a Digimon player than to be annoying sometimes. You know what I mean? But that's all I got. Let me know what you think of the deck profile. What changes would you make in the deck? What do you play in Machinedramon that you like a whole lot? Do let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you later. Bye!